More on the significance of this, we're joined by Amin Ganjalizadeh. He's an immigration attorney here in Washington. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you for having me.
Of course. So this announcement that Colombia will block coronavirus vaccines to migrants, what's your gut reaction?
Sadly, this isn't anything new that we've seen. I believe it's a well-founded fear given the harsh and restrictive policies that we've seen in response to a lot of irregular migration patterns. So we'll have to see what the incoming administration, how they'll respond to this. It's particularly sad given that a lot of undocumented immigrants occupy frontline and essential workers such as sanitation, food production, and cultivation. So we'll just have to see what is in store for us once the vaccines start getting rolled out.
And of course, there's the ethical aspect of denying it to a whole group of people. But what about President Ivan Duque's argument that the country needs to prioritize Colombians because they really are afraid of a stampede at the border of these Venezuelans coming in, perhaps to ask for vaccines?
Well, it's an understandable policy given the concerns that are dealt with the virus and the vaccines nationwide. There is obviously a concern that Colombians are given priority over anyone, undocumented or otherwise. However, we also have to recall that these undocumented immigrants are the ones that are allowing Colombians to thrive, to prosper, to get the food and medication they need. So there needs to be a priority and precedent set for all individuals, particularly those that are working on the front lines and are occupying essential working positions.
So what can the international community do?
I think we really have to rely on, we can't overly depend on state institutions. I think NGOs and non-state actors need to chip in and do their part as well. And really, it has to be a collaborative effort to ensure that no one is left behind.
Right. Do you see this also happening anywhere else? Because Colombia may be in the spotlight today due to the announcement by the president, but are other countries tacitly prioritizing their citizens and sidelining migrant groups as well?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, look no further right here in the U.S. We're seeing this outgoing administration make a last-ditch effort to try to fulfill promises made, particularly with regard to the harsh and restrictive policies towards undocumented immigration. And we can expect that undocumented immigrants, the enforcement will be ratcheted up before President-elect Biden enters office. And other Western European nations as well, but most particularly right here in the U.S. That's it.
Right, so a widespread problem perhaps. Now we know that undocumented workers are particularly vulnerable to the coronavirus because of the inability to social distance, among others. But what if they're the ones themselves who are too afraid to seek medical treatment for fear of legal reprisals? How can they best be helped?
That's actually a very good point because I've sadly, unfortunately, I've actually lost clients myself, given that they were working in a food processing plant where they were physically unable to socially distance themselves from one another. And that's exactly why they should be prioritized to be getting this vaccine. And we're hopeful that new administrations coming in, particularly the one under the the Biden administration, will make this a priority to ensure that frontline workers and essential workers will be moved to the front of the line while simultaneously ensuring that they will not be jeopardized or be found to be vulnerable as far as deportation or detention when they are being processed for vaccination.